All right, hello everybody. My name is Alex Schlerf with Rogue Media, and we are here with a special guest today, Nia Sondaya, star of Yellowjackets Season 3. Nia, thank you so much for joining me.
Of course, so happy to be here.
Awesome. We're about, 1 week from the finale airing, episode 10. And I just want to check in. How are the vibes? How are you doing emotionally with everything that happened? Just a quick vibes check with you to start off.
I feel great. Obviously, I dealt with all of that while filming the sadness of, losing Mari and the sadness of, that final hunt. But also it was also really exciting to reading that final script with the ending and all. Like everyone was so hyped, especially just because it's like so perfect that it's Natalie and it's perfect that they finally are like get in contact with the outside world. So it feels really good. And so now I'm just kind of in this place where I'm getting to like see everyone's reactions to something that I already knew was going to be really cool. And so it's been really fun seeing all of the like fan reactions and like now all of the like postseason theories. Yeah, I'm hanging in there though. I'm hanging in there. I've made my peace. I've made my peace with the end of the season a long time ago.
Well, that's good to hear. We're gonna get into more, just a disclaimer for everyone watching. We're gonna get into more like the finale related spoiler stuff later, but I'd say for anyone who hasn't seen the third season of Yellow Jackets or at all the show, first off, go watch it because it's amazing. But I'd probably just shelve this episode. Appreciate you for clicking on it, but just shelve this, watch the show, and come back. Yeah, with that said, just to start off, how proud have you been with the way the season has turned out? Because we've seen that viewership is up compared to other seasons. We saw that while the episodes were airing. So just in general, how proud are you with the show that has just turned out?
Extremely proud. Truthfully, I think it was really exciting for me to get my like or have my character expanded upon this season to get Akilah, to do so much more. It was really cool. Um, and I think that I was a little nervous initially just because it's kind of like, stepping out of the background and into a more prominent role. And I wasn't sure how that would be received. And so after watching the season back and getting to see it for myself and see how, how wonderful it all turned out, and then just to see like everyone's reactions and how well received Akilah was this season was really, beautiful and encouraging for me as well. So I'm extremely proud of the season as a whole. I'm proud of everyone's performances, as I am always. I work with legends, some of the greatest actors ever. And so, yeah, I'm really proud with how the season turned out. I think that it was really fun and exciting this season, the way it all played out. And I think that it was a very satisfying ending as well. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
you mentioned that you obviously have the honor of working with an amazing ensemble cast in Yellow Jackets. I'm not even going to start naming off the names because I'll just forget somebody and it's not fair to everyone. But how great is it to work with all your fellow castmates every day now for a second season and, some new people coming in as well this season?
It's amazing. Honestly, they are sorry, I like lost my Zoom there for a second.
That's okay.
Um, It's honestly a dream come true working with a lot of them. They're some of the best actors in the game. I get to learn so much from working with them every day. And yeah, I honestly couldn't ask for a better like ensemble cast to grow with and learn from between, Jasmine and Thatcher and Samantha and Liv. Like, I mean, and Courtney, like, honestly, I could go on and on and on. They're all just really, really, really wonderful actors. And so, yeah, getting to work with them and be in the same rooms as them, it's really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody, kind of all the fans, said equally agreed that it was great to see Akilah take another step forward in terms of prominence this season, as you said. And I just want to ask how exciting and challenging was it to, bring this new arc for Akilah to life?
Right. It was, I would say not necessarily challenging, but intimidating. I was very much uh, because my first season on the show, season two, I was stepping into a role that had already been, solidified. The groundwork had already been laid. So I was really just kind of like trying to find a way to fit into what was already there for me and then find a way to grow upon that. And then when this season came in and I was reading the scripts and I was getting to see that Akilah was going to have a lot more to do, I think it was exciting because I was like, well, as intimidating as this is that I have like this arc to fulfill, it's nice because now it's like a really great chance for me to put my own, little moments in there and find my own little key pieces of Akilah and personality traits and mannerisms that I really wanted to bring to her. Getting like more of a, a role expansion and more to do with her gave me the opportunity to slide some of that stuff in, and to really make her my own this season. So that was really, really exciting.
Yeah, I gotta ask you, you mentioned earlier about kind of watching, the show as it airs. It's different than obviously when you're reading the script and like that and finishing the filming. So how was that experience, kind of reading the fans' reaction every week? That's like the Yellow Jackets fan base is crazy. I'm I'm
It
I'm a
is
member of that fan base, but it's
in a great
crazy in a good way.
way.
Yeah, in a good way. But how is that, reading the reactions every week, especially with how the finale ended for your character?
Right. Well, it's funny because at first, when like finishing the finale, there were a lot of tweets of people just being like, "Thank God Akilah survived the season." And then the tweets started rolling, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a second. And then the tweets started rolling in, and people were like, "Where is she? Where is Akilah?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's exciting to see everybody like theorizing and freaking out and panicking, like, "Where is she?" Because I too remember reading the scripts and being like, I was like, my name's not mentioned on any of these pages after the cave. I said, wait a second. um, and then I was like, well, that's really cool. So you don't really know what happens, but seeing all of the reactions to that has been really exciting. And also just like throughout the season, and I talk about this all the time. I like joke about it with a lot of like the cast, my castmates. I'm always like, because I'm the one character that for the most part, I'm not really receiving a lot of hate because Akira's so sweet. She's so sweet and innocent and pure of heart that like no one ever is like coming at me. And so this season there were a few moments like when I voted against Coach Ben, I saw a lot of people being like, "How dare she?" But when I was like, and literally I was like I didn't know how to take it. I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Is this what you guys deal with all the time? Like, what do you do?" Like, I was like, "How do you deal with this? People not loving you all the time." No, so but it was really exciting and fun to like see because like normally it really is a bunch of people just being like, "Oh, she's the people's princess, we love her," which I love, don't get me wrong. But it's exciting to see people being like, "Why would she do that?" And like just having some of Akila's choices, or when she kind of like ruined rescue for her and Travis, a lot of people didn't agree with that choice either, which I could fight that to the death. But I understand people having different opinions, and it's really cool to see people kind of like go back and forth with how they feel about Akilah, and that's been really exciting too. Just like seeing all of the reactions, not just the good ones.
Yeah, 100%. Just delving more into kind of Akilah throughout this season, we see that she's developed kind of a serious connection to many of the animals of the wilderness. And I'm assuming most of those are real animals and not props, correct? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you, like, how was the experience of being able to work with animals for most of your scenes? Is that anything you've done before? Is that fun, challenging? Like how is that process?
Well, this would be the first show, first and only, that has had me working with animals like this. But I do love it personally. They're also cute and they're fun. Like the bunnies were a lot of fun to work with. Like there were days where I literally for 7, 8 hours straight am just holding the bunnies, and they would be like, "Hey, like we'll take them back from you now," and I was like, "No, it's fine. We're chilling." So I had like a lot of great days where I just got to like hang out with bunnies. I will say the goat was probably the hardest to like control or to work with, just because he had a lot of energy and he was like not really understanding that he was working. I was like, "Buddy, you're on the clock." He didn't care. So yeah, the goat was a little lively, I'll say. He was always like looking to run around and like play. So working with him was a bit difficult, but the llama worked really well. The llama kind of got in her place and they just fed her to get her mouth to move around the lines. And so that worked like a charm, honestly. So yeah, I worked with all of those animals that you see me with throughout the season. That was really me holding a real duck and a real goat. And so yeah, um, I will say that they're not always the easiest to work with, i.e., the goat. But every other animal was pretty chill, and I had a good time with them. Um,
Yeah, that was awesome to see on screen. Another prominent storyline for Akilah this season is the vision she has when she's in the caves with Travis and Lottie and some other people. My question is, how kind of challenging is filming those scenes as an actor? Because I'd imagine that portraying to the audience that you're having these genuine, crazy visions had to be like a strange filming process. So, kind of how was that? Have you done anything like that before? I'm just very curious to see how that experience was for you.
it was my first time doing something exactly like that, where it's like there was like a bit of like a I don't want to say like a seizing, but there was like a lot of like motion and like eye flittering and like the eyes rolling back to the head, just like to kind of give that um look. Sorry, my cat is like under me going crazy. She's got the zoomies. But yeah, there was a lot of just like wanting it to feel like Akilah was experiencing something outside of herself. So I did want like so there was like a lot of like on the ground and like I said with the eyes and like the fast breathing or like the jerking, like almost as if I'm in my dream and it's like very active. I'm in these visions, like my body is physically there, so I'm like actively, doing that. So there was like a lot of that, like body movement and eye stuff happening, which I was nervous about originally because I was like, when you're doing that sort of stuff, you feel like, oh, I obviously look crazy, and I wasn't sure how it would look, but everyone assured me they were like, no, I swear it looks cool. And the way that it all got cut together and edited, I really was very pleased with how it all turned out. But yeah, that was my first time ever attempting something like that on that level, and I wanted it to look real, but I also wanted to be like respectful of just the situation, circumstances. Yeah, but I do think that it all turned out really well. It was a bit challenging, but I think we got it to a place where it looked really good.
Yeah, I think it looked great. In that same vein, one of my favorite scenes of season three was in episode four, kind of the dreamscape like sequence where Ella Purnell reprises her role as Jackie. Obviously, she does throughout the season, but you got to share the screen with her. I'm just gonna say I'm a huge fan of hers. I don't know if you see the follow-up post from the background. I'm a huge fan of Ella's, and she's obviously one of the original cast members of the show and someone who's made an amazing career for herself since the show came out. Um, how was it to even, share the screen with her, someone who's an original cast member of the show?
Right. Well, we only worked together that one day. So I didn't really get too much of Ella, but she was lovely. The day that we did get to work together, she was really great. Yeah, and really she's a professional. She came in and she did her thing and it was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Kind of pivoting a little bit, I just want to ask overall, what was your, right before we get into kind of spoiler more stuff, what was your personal favorite moment for season three? It could be with your character, without, maybe both. Kind of what was your favorite moment throughout the whole season?
Hmm. It's a good question. Give me one moment to think. I'm like, there were a lot of really great moments this season, but I'll probably say, I mean, anytime that I was like with my animals were like those were like really, really fun days for me. Like any days where I got to just like hold the bunnies all day long. I loved. But actually I'll say there were like scenes where we like in episode 7, I want to say. Yeah, it's episode 7, where it's all like kind of for our timeline is all like the chase, where we're just chasing Joel McHale and Ashley, who plays Hannah, like through the woods. That was really fun to shoot. Like I thought that was pretty exciting, and all of the like running and the zigzagging and the going after them. So that was pretty fun. Probably one of my favorites to shoot.
So I have to ask, and I don't want to get you in trouble, so you can just say whatever you're allowed to say or whatever you feel like you can say. But you mentioned earlier, obviously the season ended in a way that was very up in the air for Akilah. At least that's the way kind of the
Yeah.
fans are perceiving it. We don't know if Lottie did something to her or if she maybe even sacrificed herself. What can you kind of tell us about how the finale played out for Akilah?
For Akilah. So what I'll say is in those final moments, I think that for her, I'm what I will say one is that I'm very proud of Akilah. I think that the strength that it took her to finally like draw the courage to confront Lottie about everything that has gone on between them throughout the season and just in general in the wilderness, I think it took a lot of strength for her to do. And I was so proud. Like when reading the script, I was like, thank God. I was like, this needs to be said. Thankfully, Akilah finally gets to say what needs to be said to Lottie. And so I think that it does cross her mind when she picks up the rock that maybe it would just be better for everyone to put an end to Lottie, to maybe just like really deal with this once and for all. But I think we all know Akilah well enough to know that she does not have that in her. And so even though I think that thought crossed her mind, even enough for her to pick up the rock, I personally, again, I don't know. I've not read anything past the cave, truthfully. I personally don't think that she used the rock. I don't think that she attempted to harm Lottie. I hope I'll say because it's not, I don't know what I think, but I'll say that I hope that Lottie wouldn't attempt to hurt Akilah either. But I don't know. I have no idea what happens in that cave with the two of them. I have no idea what where that conversation goes past the part where we leave them. Um, I've got theories, obviously, like we all do. I'll keep them to myself just because I don't want anything to like end up, I don't want anyone to take it and run with it. And
Manifesting it, yeah.
yeah, so and I'm really excited to see what our writers come up with and where they're going to take things. So I'm trying not to theorize too much about what happens in that cave. But yeah, I mean that is Akilah's fate so far as we know. She's still in that cave and Lottie comes out and we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that it was an intentional choice, and
Yeah.
hopefully we have the chance to see it in the future, how that plays.
I'm dying to
Yeah.
know what happened in that cave. I would really hope that we get to see that full out the second half of that scene.
Yeah, yeah, going off that, obviously the future is kind of still uncertain for the show and for your character.
Mhm.
But assuming, and again, like if you think you're getting any spoiler here, you don't have to let me know. But assuming you do get to return to play Akilah more, what do you kind of want to see with her future character arc?
Wow, great question. Perhaps after everything that has happened now through this season finale with Mari, dying. Oh, it's so sad to say out loud. I really don't say it often. But yeah, after Mari dying, and her killing her animals, choosing that for herself, I would like to see a bit of an edge in Akilah that we've never seen before. I think that just honestly and truthfully, like if this were real life, I think that all of that would take a toll on a person. Kind of in the same way that we've seen Shauna lose so much and we've seen her kind of go the other way into a bit of a darkness and an edge. I don't necessarily want to see Akilah go so evil or really dark, but I would like to see a bit of an edge to her where she doesn't feel the need to be so nice. Where she kind of gives up on that a bit. Just because I mean I think it'd be interesting and I love to see a character who is like so like pure of heart kind of inch over into the other side. I would like to see that for her. I think it would make sense. But again, I'm really open and excited to seeing what the writers have in store for her. They know best. So, but I just personally, as an actor, I think that, and who's played Akilah for a while now, I think that she'd be due for little bit of edge, a little bit of snark, little,
I was gonna say it'd be nice to see her kind of listen. Sean is like another level, maybe not that to that
Definitely
extent.
not that. Definitely not. I don't think I
Um,
could ever see her going that far.
Yeah, but I think you're right. Like seeing her have a little edge, because like you said at the beginning and just now, is that the way we know Akilah to this point and why everyone likes her so much is because of that sweetness and that kindness. And they show her in season 3, petting animals the whole time and all that, and kind of episode 10 puts a spin on that. So yeah, I think that'd be super interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of my last questions is just I want to give you the chance and I'm kind of asking you on the spot here, so you can take a second to think about it. But I want to give you the chance to kind of shout out somebody in the Yellow Jackets family that you believe maybe doesn't get enough shine or enough credit. This could be a cast member, crew, or even somebody like in
Oh,
your life that kind of helped you to get to this point where you've been playing out the arc of Aquila this season.
well, I'll start with shouting out people that I think deserve it from this season. I could honestly, the list is so long from cast to crew, but I want to first shout out Sylvana, Vanessa, and Anissa because they were amazing all season long. And yeah, they kind of, I would say Sylvana and Anissa were more on the outskirts of what was going on this season. They didn't have like very like prominent arcs. But what I'll say is that they came to set every day and brought so much into playing Robin and Britt. And you see it like when you watch the season back, you see little moments of Anissa playing Robin where she's, very in tune to what's happening and what's going on. And you can tell that she's having an emotional reaction to the things that are happening around her. And you can see Britt and like she's got this like really cute kind of like this quirky personality to her that you see throughout the season, throughout the scenes that I really enjoy. And so I really want to just like shout them out because I think they were incredible this season. And same with Vanessa, who stepped into Jen this season, which I know firsthand how intimidating and kind of challenging that can be to step in to a role that already exists, especially on this show. And I think she came in with the most optimistic personality, and so bright and fun every day. And she just came and brought so much depth to Jen, and that relationship between her and Melissa. And she did such a beautiful job this season. And so I definitely have to shout them out. I loved working with them this season, and I thought they all did beautiful work. And also, I just like to shout out our entire crew as a whole because they are the most supportive, most incredible crew ever. And they're all so good at their job. They're like, every single one of them is a genius, from our camera guys to our grips to, I mean, our DP. Everybody is just phenomenal and so supportive of all of us. So yeah, I literally cannot sing our crew's praises enough. I love and adore them so much. Everyone. Yeah.
No, I obviously recognize that everyone deserves credit, so I'm not nowhere leaving people out, but that's super sweet of you to shout out a couple of the new cast members because I know that a couple of people on Twitter I definitely see and agree with you, and they want to see them kind of take the step that you
Yeah.
took this season and step into a bigger role if there is any seasons in the future.
Yes, I would love that as well. I think that there's so much to be done with the three of those characters. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Just to finish, we're obviously excited to see you potentially return in Yellow Jackets, but do you have any kind of exciting non-Yellow Jackets projects in the future that you would like to promote?
None that I can talk about right now.
Okay.
None that I can talk about right now, but I do think perhaps something exciting soon. But I can't talk about it yet. So
Totally fair enough. Well, we're all excited to see that. I guess I'll ask then, is there anything, besides from Yellow Jackets recently that you've been watching, whether it's a movie, TV show, something that you've been really binging maybe?
thank you for asking. So first, I will say White Lotus, which is now done,
Yes.
but oh,
Yeah.
phenomenal season.
Hmm.
Absolutely love it. Mike White, call me. Literally call me. I
Yes,
will
please.
die to do a season of White Lotus. So good. And then I know I'm really late. I'm tardy to the party. But I just started Severance. And I'm in the middle of season 2, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. It's so good. So yeah, those are the shows that I'm into at the moment. And then I see that you have an Invincible poster back there, which obviously also Invincible is done, but loved this last season of Invincible.
So
Huge
good.
Invincible fan. Yeah. So
I
that's
will
a
say about Severance, make sure you avoid spoilers because it's going to be a much better experience if you don't see anything about
yeah,
it.
I went in blind. I went in blind. I had
Great.
no idea what I was getting myself into. I just was like, I see enough about this show and have no idea what it's about. So I just was like, let's give it a go. And Chef's Kiss, it's a phenomenal show.
I mean, literally, me and my friends sat down and watched the first episode, and we finished it in like a week. Like it's like first
Yeah.
two seasons in like a week. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, I mean, I did not expect to talk about Severance on this episode, but I'm totally here for it.
Yeah, Severance is so so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm into right now, and I've been really like I like zoomed through season 1. Like I watched season 1 probably in 2 days, and I did
Yeah.
nothing. I just watched Severance, and then I got to season 2, and I was like, oh, I was like, you need to slow down because I don't know when season 3 is coming out. So I've been really taking my time getting through season 2. I'm about halfway through now. I've limited myself to about an episode a day. That's like the most exciting part of my day.
Well, yeah, that's how me and you got lucky for not watching season one when it came
Well,
out because
yes, very lucky. Apparently, they waited a very long
yeah,
time.
like 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
listen,
I'm
it's
really,
it's good. They take their time with it and they let it be as good as it can be. As a Spider-Verse fan, that's how I feel. But the gaps between. But
yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. This was amazing. Good luck for you and your future endeavors, and I can't wait to see hopefully more of you in Yellow Jackets and anything else in the future.
Thank you so much. This was great. Thanks for having me.